What line of business are you in?
I'm in transport.
Transporting.
Yeah.
Trucking company or what?
Yeah, transport. Okay.
Real estate,
Real estate.
finance,
Yeah.
and some other things too.
Throughout your career, what was the most amount of money that you've made in a single year?
Most money I made was $15 million after taxes and everything else.
How did you scale out to a multi-billion-dollar business?
Master the art of sales and marketing. It's everything. And then I would say equally as important is focus on your product.
Number 1.
Excuse me, sir. Question for you. Have you ever been broke before?
Hell no.
No? And what line of business are you in?
Shit, I want to tell you that, but I ain't been broke.
Wait, real quick. I started a channel in Austin. I grew it to 10 million followers. I've interviewed the biggest business owners all over the world. Could I get one quick minute with you real quick? Could I get one quick minute with you?
It's one quick minute. Go ahead.
What line of business are you in?
I'm in transport.
Transporting.
Yeah.
You own a trucking company or what?
Yeah, transport. Okay.
And how did you get into this business? What was
Man,
the
you know what?
turning point?
Someone told me about it. I was driving down the freeway, and I always see these trucks going down the freeway. And I said, man, transport is always there. It's always going to be there. No electronic, no robot or anything like that is going to change it. It's just going to be there.
It's recession-proof and people can't replace
You
it.
can't replace it. You
Yeah.
can't replace it. Always going to be in a job
No.
for you. You looking for a job?
Not a job, but maybe another business to get into. Let me ask you this, right? Like at the company, in terms of revenue, not personal income, what was the most amount of money you made in a single year?
Man, you want me to tell, man, and it's almost the first of the year. You want me to actually put that on IRS?
Just revenue, not personal.
I couldn't say.
But is it safe to say there's a lot of money to be made?
It's a lot of money to be made, and it pays my bills.
Do you come from a lot of money?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. My father's a king.
If you lost everything tomorrow, could you make it all back?
Oh, hell yeah. I'm a brother. We lost everything before, so it's nothing
Yeah.
for us to get it back.
Are you a good salesman?
Yes, I am.
What's your secret to selling?
Consistency. Never take no for an answer.
How about negotiating? A lot of people struggle to close deals. You've closed some big deals with some heavy hitters. What's your negotiation advice?
Man, like I said, consistency. Everything is consistency, man. And preference. Being at the right place at the right time. You can take a piece of a glass of water, a bottle of water, and move it from place to place, and it changes its price. But it's the same glass of water.
That's game right there. Love that, my friend. Did you go to school? You went to college or no?
Yeah, elementary was good enough.
Elementary was good enough. All right, so give them one last lesson about business that's not taught in school.
Man, you working me, man. Am I getting paid for this, brother?
Maybe.
Am
Come
I
on,
getting paid for
we
this?
have to cut it. We have to cut it for
You're
you.
lying. Get a mentor. Definitely get a mentor. Because you don't have a mentor, you don't have no direction. You know, and find out his bad moves that he had made. You can grow from there.
You got amazing advice, my friend. Thank you
Much
so
love.
much.
Happy
That was
holidays.
amazing. Thank you, my friend. Likewise. Thank you.
Number 2.
Excuse me, sir. Question for you. Real quick, I started a channel in Austin, Texas. I grew it to 9 million followers. I go all over the country asking business owners their best advice to new entrepreneurs. Could I get one quick minute with you?
What do you want to know?
What line of business were you in?
Real estate,
Real estate.
finance,
Yeah.
and some other things too.
Are you a business owner?
Yes, I am.
How long have you been an entrepreneur for?
Myself,
Yeah.
well, it's been in my family since 1945.
Yeah.
My grandfather bought it, and then I got into some other things. I don't want to say how long I've been in other things, but
What's your main business?
it's real estate and finance. I'm a
Commercial
trader. I'm
or-
a trader, an options trader, New York Stock Exchange.
Actually,
Yeah.
let me ask you this. What was the best financial advice that you ever received throughout your career? If there's a lesson about money a mentor taught you that always stuck with you, what's that advice you'd give to people that may not have
Well,
it?
I'm a home gamer, okay? So I worked out in my own apartment, okay? And I traded through a big company. Best investment I ever made, best trades I ever made was a couple of years back, Amazon. That was my cash cow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Did you make a lot of money off of Amazon?
I did.
Yeah. You are a trader though,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What separates the top 1% of traders in today's world? What do you see that makes the most traders successful?
Determination.
Yeah.
Everyone makes mistakes, me included. I made mistakes where I got margin calls. Talk about losing sleep, you know. It's like the mafia coming after you. You owe us this amount, you know. Fortunately, I was able to cover it. Some Robin Hood. Remember Robin Hood? You know Robin Hood? Remember when the kid, 27, I think he was 20 years old, he committed suicide because I knew exactly how he was trading,
Yeah.
and I know why he screwed up.
Right.
And he was not emotionally prepared for the consequences when he got that margin call. So I had my share, and I go, wow. So it either makes you a better trader, you learn from your mistakes, if you know it's your own fault, and then there were times where I thought about giving up, but I just kept going, and finally it paid off. And one day, the biggest thrill of my life was I got invited to the New York Stock Exchange for breakfast. I was like, whoa, me? And then it was like about 30 of us through a certain company that we trade through. I'm not going to say the name. And it was like the biggest thrill of my life. And I knew at that point that I must be doing something right. You know, I'm 70 years old, so I have backed down now a little bit, but I still do some.
Have you ever been broke before?
No, never been broke.
Never been broke.
Never been broke.
What's one lesson about money that banks don't want people to know?
Well, they would like to take your money and invest it for you. You know, I don't go through banks. I do it myself.
You do it yourself.
Yeah. The banks are good for people who want, like 5%, 6%. I was making, a lot more than that. I'm not going to say how much. I was making a lot more.
Give me a range. How much?
I'm not.
Yeah.
No. But it's, look, I live in Manhattan, Sutton Place, and all through my trading. I have a year and a half of college, that's it.
Yeah.
But the key is determination. You never give up.
Right.
One day you fall on your face, you get back up and you do it all over again.
Let me ask you this. I'm 22.
Yeah.
You're 70.
Yeah.
Whose generation works harder, yours or mine?
Well, look, you want to know about my life. My grandfather was a coal miner when he came from this country, from Italy. Nobody worked like he did. He lost body parts on the job. My mother was born in coal mining country. So when they came to Brooklyn in the 1930s, my grandfather then worked on the infrastructure of the city, the bridges and tunnels. He was the toughest guy I know. No one, as far as I'm concerned, they went through the Great Depression, nothing. You either worked or you starved. There was no, aid to help you out or whatever. It was a completely different world. Here's the difference between myself and your generation. When I was 22 years old, the stock market was for people who knew someone that had a friend that worked for a company or a bank, and that's how you got into it, slowly but surely. But today, with the internet, it changed everything. At least it did for me. I started trading on the internet back in the late 90s. Little by little, and all of a sudden it just snowballed. That's why I tell all young guys, get in it now. We're not $100 here, $100 there. You'd be surprised what that's going to happen like 30, 40 years from now.
Yeah. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for your time, sir.
Number 3.
Who am I here with today?
Pace Morby.
And for those that don't know, what industry did you decide to pursue a career in?
I started in construction and I ended up getting in a way better industry, real estate and lending.
And why was real estate your vehicle? Out of all the businesses, the industries you could have been in, why did you end up in real estate?
I found that real estate was the only guaranteed way to be successful. There's a lot of ways to gamble with money. Real estate's not gambling, it's guaranteed. Scientifically proven, numbers have shown for hundreds of years, real estate is the most guaranteed investment you could make.
How long have you been in real estate for?
I've been in real estate for 12 years. I was a contractor touching real estate for 10 years prior to that.
So let me ask you this, throughout your career, what was the most amount of money that you've made in a single year?
Most money I made was $15 million after taxes and everything else.
After taxes?
After taxes, yeah.
That's for yourself?
That's for myself, yeah. My company that year, I think we did like $115 million, something like that.
So did you have to pay a lot of money in taxes?
$0 in taxes. So because I'm a real estate investor, we take advantage of the IRS code. The IRS code allows me as a real estate investor to pay $0 in federal income taxes. Of course, I pay property taxes and I pay, I have employees and I pay employment tax. I pay all those kind of taxes, but federal income, I have not paid $1 in federal income tax in 7 years.
Well, how is that possible?
The way it's possible is the IRS rewards you as a real estate investor and says, hey, if you invest in real estate and you provide affordable housing to the United States, we will reward you with tax benefits that make it so you pay $0 in federal income tax.
So is there a certain piece of real estate or a piece of property that you should be looking to buy in that case?
Any real estate works. You can do any piece of real estate. You can even do RV parks where it's primarily land that you don't even have really any buildings on. You could buy multifamily properties, you could buy hotels, you could buy single family. It does not matter. Any piece of real estate will allow you to avoid taxes.
And this is legal.
It's not just legal, it's written in the IRS code. They're encouraging you to do it. The IRS wants you to do it because they're wanting you to provide affordable housing to the United States. I mean, look what the United States does. They don't know how to provide affordable housing to our own country. You look at LA right now, they took state tax dollars and built a big high rise for homeless people, and they spent $600,000 per one unit. I could have done that thing for $75,000. So the government is not good at using our money, and so the IRS knows that, and they reward us to deploy our capital and provide affordable housing.
Now, your business did over $100 million in a single year, consistently.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. How did you scale from 8 to 9 figures?
Secret to scaling is two things. Number one, I can't do it on my own, so of course I need to delegate to high-level people. Pay people a lot of money, you'll attract a really high-quality people. If you pay peanuts, you'll get monkeys. Okay, remember that. If you pay peanuts, you'll get monkeys. So good quality people, high-quality paycheck. That's number one. Number two is get partners that are the polar opposite of you. So my partner, Josiah, is the polar opposite of me. I like to be on stage, write books, do all the content. I inspire people. I attract employees to our team. He goes out and manages those people, runs the payroll, runs the books, make sure everything's taken care of so I can do my job. So very similar to your guys' structure, you have partners that are doing different things. For me, give up a portion of your ownership in your company to somebody who's the polar opposite and brings different skills to the table.
I'd rather have a slice of the pie than 100% of a grape.
All day. Absolutely. I tell people that all the time. I'd rather have one bite of a watermelon than one grape.
Now, as a 9-figure entrepreneur, what was the best financial advice that you ever received?
Okay, so best advice I ever got was that most of the advice you got all the way up until you're probably 30 was a lie. And the reason why that person told you that lie is because they were also lied to. And specifically, what I was lied to about is I need a bank to go buy real estate. I need a loan to go buy real estate. I need credit. I need money. Guys, I have $500 million in my portfolio and I've never used a bank. I don't use credit. I've literally never had my credit pulled. I don't use any of my own money. I just get creative finance. I do everything creative finance. That was the greatest piece of advice I got. It was so good, I thought it was a scam. I had to read like 5 different books and go ask 100 different people before I believed that it was possible for me. That was the greatest piece of advice, is that everything you thought about acquiring businesses, vehicles, buildings for yourself, your own house, real estate portfolios, literally no bank, no credit, no cash, none of that crap is needed at all.
How is that possible?
We go to sellers that are trying to retire, typically. So like an apartment building, a seller's owned for 30 years, he wants to retire and he wants us to give him a monthly check every single month. And he says, I don't want to deal with the property anymore. And if he sold it on the market for cash, he'd have a big capital gains tax. And so when he sells it to us on seller finance, he lets us make payments to him and he becomes the bank. Then I have no bank needed, I have no credit needed, and I have no money out of my pocket either. I can just start making payments to him. Where do my payments come from? From the tenants that are staying in the property. One of our best ones is 160 units, brings in like $160,000 a month after the payment to the seller, taxes, insurance, the management, all the repairs, everything. Our company brings in $53,000 a month on one property. $53,000 a month net in our pocket with no credit, no bank, and no money out of our pocket, not even a dollar.
What's the deepest life quote you've ever heard?
One of my favorite quotes is, a man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still, which means stop trying to convince the world around you to believe in your vision. They're just going to dig deeper that they're not going to believe in your vision. Go find the people that already believe in you and double down on those relationships. What I did for the longest time is I tried to get my friends and my family to believe in what I was doing, and I wasted years. So again, a man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still, which means if they don't believe in you today, they're never going to believe in you. Move on, go get a different relationship and believe in yourself.
What was the lowest point in your life?
Lowest point of my life, man, I've had some low ones. I've had my brother's hung himself, my brother that I shared a room with my whole life. My brother got addicted to fentanyl and my brother took his own life. That was a low moment. That same year, my wife and I got divorced. I had a member of my family go to prison for 2 years and I had to pay for the bills of his family while he was in prison. That was a low moment in my life. I wrote a suicide letter to my family and I was like, I'm going to drive a car into a semi-truck head on. And I was going to kill myself. I was about your age, 23, 24 years old. And my mom called me that day and checked in on me. She said, hey, I don't know why I should have checked on you today, but I just want to let you know I love you and check in on you. And I didn't kill myself. And here we are, 600 employees and $100 million a year in revenue. I'm grateful I didn't kill myself.
So in other words, you got to reach out to those people that are around you, checking on them, make sure that they're doing good.
Yeah, I mean, look in your phone and reach out to people every once, not just New Year's, not just Christmas. Text people that are your friends and just thank them for being your friends and get around people. Like, what's cool is I was just in your guys' group, doing a Zoom call with your guys' community, and it was really cool to see how everybody's networking with each other, encouraging each other, and helping each other out with mindset. Guys, get a part of these guys' community. Go join their community. Get involved and get around people that are doing more than you are, and they'll inspire you. And the number one thing I learned is that people better than you will give you permission to become better yourself. Your parents, the people you go to church with, they're not giving you permission to do that. They're telling you to be humble. They're telling you to be quiet. They're telling you to be grateful for what you have. Guys, I can be grateful for what I have and still want more. And the way to do that is get into a community like what you guys have.
You got amazing advice, brother.
Thank you
so
brother.
much for your
Appreciate
time.
you.
I appreciate you, man. That was excellent.
Yes.
Number 4.
Who am I here with today?
Mohammed Bingati,
And for those that don't know, what industry did you decide to pursue a career in?
real estate.
How long have you been in the business for?
16 years, 17.
And what are you doing in real estate?
Property developer. We're the guys behind the first Bugatti residences in the world, the first Mercedes-Benz residences in the world, and the first Jacob & Co. residences in the world.
What was the most amount of money that you've made in a single year?
I would say almost $5 billion.
$5 billion. How did you scale out to a multi-billion-dollar business?
Master the art of sales and marketing. Sales and marketing. It's everything. Yeah, so you got to focus on having a solid sales team, a solid marketing strategy. And then I would say equally as important is focus on your product. Make sure that you develop your product to speak for itself.
What's a hack for marketing that you could give to a business owner right now?
I mean, I could tell you the strategy I followed. So I always wanted to be omnipresent. So that's what you want through marketing. You want omnipresence. You want to be everywhere at every time and be known by everyone. And the way I did that with not so much resources in the beginning was to make the the product market itself. How did I do that? I built this very specific architectural DNA or language that was used consistently across all the buildings. So in a sense, the buildings were the billboards. I didn't pay money for billboards. People would look at the building, realize the architecture, and know this is a Bengati product, let's say. And that's how the marketing started from day one without spending any money on the marketing. So it was more that the product itself spoke for itself. And you see this in the car industry, for example. If you look at a Bugatti, you can tell it's a Bugatti without being told it's a Bugatti. So that was sort of the strategy that I followed, the product market itself. And then obviously you develop other strategies. You build a team. I'm very big on digital marketing personally. I believe it's the best marketing strategy that exists right now. So I'm not so big on traditional techniques.
You brought up how you've been in the business for 16, 17 years. A lot of entrepreneurs, they get shiny object syndrome. They want to diversify, jump from industry to industry. How important was it for you learning how to focus on one thing and stay in that game?
It was indispensable. I think it was the most valuable lesson I learned, to focus on one core and expand in that. I mean, in my opinion, that's how a lot of wealthy people make their wealth. I think one of the mistakes I made was diversifying into different sectors and not focusing on one core. Because I think you can diversify within the core itself. To give you an example, you could do luxury real estate, you could do mid-market real estate, you could do lower end real estate. You could do so many different product lines within the same core and achieve scale, let's say, in your business. So that's the lesson I learned.
So in other words, vertical integration.
Absolutely, vertical integration. Once upon a time, I did real estate, I did restaurants, I did a juice factory, I did so many different businesses, and then I learned that focusing on one and scaling that into a monster was the way that worked for me.
Do you believe in God?
Of course.
How important has faith been for you throughout your career?
Everything.
Everything.
I've seen miracles in my life. I believe it was all from God.
Actually, yeah.
100%.
Any advice to somebody trying to build and grow that relationship with God?
I mean, I was in a place in my life one day where I thought I lost it all and there was no solution for me. And I asked God for a miracle. And I told him, it's now out of my hands and in your hands, and miracles came.
Let go and let God.
Absolutely.
I love it. You got amazing advice, my friend.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your
Thank
time,
you.
sir.